We don't do a whole lot of medical stories on this show unless you count autopsies, but for Wendy Williams, I will make an exception. Her story is legal as well as medical, and if you ask her, it's 100% criminal. But that dreaded court-ordered guardianship that's gravely restricted Wendy's life for more than 3 years now is pegged to a specific diagnosis: frontotemporal dementia. That is an incurable and progressive brain disease. It only gets worse, and eventually it gets debilitating. But recently, Wendy underwent a new battery of tests, and we have learned that they found the exact opposite: no dementia. That original diagnosis was wrong, these tests pointed out. We reached out to the lawyer who's leading the fight to get Wendy's guardianship lifted. Joe Tacopina is a courtroom legend, and he's a friend of this show, and he told us this is true. This story is true. Wendy is not medically incapable of making her own decisions, he says. So what does it mean? Does the guardianship end right away? Can Wendy leave that 5th floor memory care unit where she's been locked up and angry about it? She's paying for it, by the way, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Her legal team plans to ask the judge to give Wendy her life back. And if that request is refused, they say they're going to ask for a jury trial for it. Joining me now is someone who literally wrote the book on guardianships, journalist, author, and friend of the show, Diane Dimond. Her book is called "We're Here to Help When Guardianship Goes Wrong." Diane, I did not expect necessarily to see such definitive evidence that the diagnosis was wrong. I'd love your reaction to this.
Well, I wasn't surprised a bit, because Wendy told me that this was what the new medical team had discovered. I was waiting for the announcement to come out, and now I guess it has. Was I surprised that it was a completely different diagnosis? No, because not only was she diagnosed with what? Frontotemporal lobal dementia, and something else. What was it? The same thing that Bruce Willis has. Aphasia.
Oh, aphasia. Yeah.
Aphasia. That was the original diagnosis put into the court by her guardian, a woman named Sabrina Morrissey. Now, was that a fraud upon the court? Was it just a misdiagnosis by the medical team that Sabrina Morrissey hired to evaluate Wendy Williams? I mean, we don't know. So maybe a jury trial would be a great thing.
Boy, would it ever. I have so many questions, and I know that that's the kind of thing that you get when you put people on the stand, and a lot of dirty laundry can come out on both sides, and I think that's something that they've been threatening her with. I know that that's been some of the reporting from court, is that Sabrina Morrissey et al. Has said, oh, Wendy, you're not going to want to go to any trial because you're not going to like what the public's going to hear. So, and I should be very frank with our audience. Diane, you and I are friends. We have both had lunch with Wendy. We have both come to the same, separately, we've both come to the same conclusion that, look, she's a little off, but she's not the kind of person you should lock away. I've seen people wandering the streets who are in far worse condition, who they haven't locked away. And it just seems, confounding. So the question I have, if this diagnosis
but Ashleigh, those people that are wandering out in the street, they don't have any money. You see, Wendy Williams has a lot of money, and when you're put under guardianship, the guardian's name goes on all of the money, all the property, all the bank accounts, everything. So that's one reason I think that this has gone on for so long, because the judge appointed this judge, Lisa Sokoloff, appointed someone very familiar to her, Sabrina Morrissey. And so now the other side of this argument's coming out. Is the judge going to say, oh, gosh, I made a mistake in appointing Sabrina Morrissey? Or are they going to keep this under wraps, as all of the hearings have been? Everything is done secret in guardianships. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but that's why
it's okay,
Wendy,
because we're both on the same track. Yeah, we're both on the same track, but I am so curious, with this new evidence that she is not suffering from these debilitating conditions that locked her up and forced her to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in bills because the place where she's living is expensive. Sabrina Morrissey is being paid by her as well. I mean, it's just so confounding that you're locked up against your will, the access to your money is taken away, and they dig into it to pay for you to be locked up against your will. Would she then qualify in any way to get all of that money back? And then I'll go beyond that. Would there be repercussions for the people who did this to her. They took her civil liberties away, and if this evidence is right, for no reason.
Yeah, well, see, to me, guardianship is like the biggest under-discussed civil rights issue of our time, because when you're guardianized, all of your civil rights are taken away. I mean, the judge finally relented and let Wendy get a lawyer, a legal team of her own, which was unusual. But will they ever have to give the money back? No, because what the guardian has done was all under court order. The judge gave her permission to do everything. So could there then be a civil suit against the guardian? Yeah, you bet. I'm involved in a civil suit right here in New York with a woman who was unjustly guardianized. A lawyer got her out of guardianship, which was rare. And now that attorney is suing everybody involved. The attorney, the guardian, the doorman who locked the woman out of her apartment. So yeah, I think, if lawyers can get these things into a courtroom, another courtroom, with a jury could, in a civil suit, award Wendy millions of dollars in punitive damages.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Let me ask you this. Oh, I mean, the story is going to blow up. It should be blowing up now, because the fact that someone has been locked up against her will and her bank account has been accessed by others against her will, and it has paid for the costs where she's been, which amount to, again, hundreds of thousands. I do want to ask you this, because I think you're going to say no. With this evidence, does she get out of jail immediately?
No. Sadly, no. And you and I have snuck into secret lunches with her. I've spoken to her on the phone for hours and hours and hours and hours. This is not a woman who is in the throes of dementia. She's a critical thinker.
She
has a notebook where she keeps all of her notes every day, her daily log, all of her contacts, her legal team phone numbers. Yeah. She had a problem with alcohol.
I'm with you.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm with you, Diane.
How many people in America
there
have
may
that
have been
problem?
those problems. Yeah. There may have been alcohol-induced dementia, but this frontotemporal thing. Let's continue the story. I'm super late on time because of the Trump signing. So thank you, Diane. Always good to see you. I so appreciate this.
You're welcome, my friend.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.